In Stoicism, negative thoughts are viewed as the result of our judgments and interpretations of external events. The Stoics teach that our emotions and thoughts are largely within our control, and negative thoughts often stem from irrational judgments or attachments to things outside of our control. Here's how Stoicism addresses negative thoughts. Challenge your negative thoughts in 10 steps. Before we dive into the lesson, make sure you have subscribed to the channel, as this video is of utmost importance, and consider liking the video in order to trigger the algorithm. Let's get down to the business. Number 1. Recognize negative thoughts. The Stoic practice of negative visualization involves contemplating worst-case scenarios to develop gratitude for the present. By imagining what could go wrong, you prepare yourself mentally for adversity. Pay attention to your thought patterns and spot any negative ones when they pop up. Self-criticism, overgeneralization, catastrophizing, and filtering out the good parts of a situation are examples of typical negative thought processes. Throughout the day, be conscious of your thoughts. Pay attention to the language and tone of your inner dialogue. To identify negative thought patterns, think about keeping a thought journal. As you notice negative thoughts, jot them down together with the circumstances or triggers that brought them on. Pay attention to how you feel when you think about specific things. Strongly negative emotions may be a sign of negative mental processes at work. Recognize when you are thinking self-critical thoughts and challenge them. Self-criticism should be replaced with self-compassion and understanding. A single bad experience shouldn't be used to make general judgments. Be objective and understand that not everything is as bad as it may seem. By recognizing your negative thought patterns, you give yourself the power to take control of your thinking and change your perspective to one that is more positive and well-balanced. As you attempt to replace unhealthy thought patterns with more positive ones, practice self-awareness and self-compassion. Keep in mind that altering thought patterns requires time and practice, but the benefits, improve mental health and a more optimistic attitude on life, are worth the effort. Number 2. Challenge the evidence. By asking oneself whether there is any evidence to back up or disprove your negative thoughts, you can challenge their veracity. Negative thoughts frequently don't come from actual facts, but rather from presumptions or mistaken perspectives. Start by recognizing negative ideas as they emerge. Pay attention to any negative thought patterns that may be affecting your feelings and actions. Take a minute to stop and consider the content of any unpleasant thoughts that come to mind. Think about how it makes you feel and how it might affect how you perceive a scenario. By asking yourself for specific examples that back up the negative thought, you can disprove it. You'll frequently discover that the negative belief is supported by little to no actual proof. Look for evidence to disprove the negative assumption. Exist instances where the contrary is true or where good things have happened. You develop the capacity to dispute false views and swap them out for more accurate and impartial viewpoints by challenging the evidence supporting negative ideas. With the help of this practice, you can end the cycle of negativity and create a more positive outlook that will boost your well-being and resilience in the face of difficulties. Number 3. Replace with rational thoughts. Stoicism encourages challenging irrational beliefs and cognitive distortions that lead to negative thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking in absolutes or catastrophizing, question the validity of those thoughts. Are they based on evidence, or are they irrational fears? Once you've identified your negative thoughts, try to replace them with ones that are more balanced and logical. Create a more realistic viewpoint by seeking evidence to refute the negative thoughts. Be on the lookout for negative ideas and squash them as they occur. Learn to recognize your thought processes and how they affect your emotions. Challenge negative ideas. Examine the truthfulness of negative ideas to determine whether they are founded on reality or assumptions. Recognize cognitive fallacies include overgeneralization, catastrophizing, binary thinking, and emotive reasoning. Replace them with more sensible interpretations. Look for evidence to refute the negative assumption. To counter the negativity, think about your past accomplishments, victories, and good outcomes. You can actively cultivate a more cheerful and resilient attitude by actively replacing negative thoughts with sensible and well-balanced ones. You can navigate difficulties with more clarity and emotional stability thanks to this cognitive shift. You'll improve your capacity to keep a more upbeat attitude on life and foster a stronger sense of well-being as you continue to practice this strategy. Number 4, practice self-compassion. Be patient and understanding with yourself. Instead of punishing yourself for having unfavorable thoughts, provide yourself the same understanding and support that you would extend to a friend going through a similar situation. Recognize that everyone goes through difficult emotions and unpleasant ideas. The struggles you are going through are not unique to you. In its stead, self-criticism avoids self-criticism and negative self-talk when unpleasant thoughts come to mind. Change it to language that is kind and encouraging. Just as you would be for a buddy going through difficulty, show yourself compassion and empathy. Be aware of self-judgment. Be aware of any propensity to criticize or compare yourself to others. Instead, accept them as a natural aspect of being human and love your flaws. Recognize that you have made mistakes in the past and provide forgiveness to yourself. Number 5, concentrate on what you can control. One of the fundamental teachings of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. It distinguishes between things we can control, our judgments, choices, desires, and things we can't control, external events, the actions of others. Negative thoughts often arise when we attempt to control things beyond our control. Stoicism advises focusing on what's within your control and letting go of the rest. Focus on the areas of a situation that you have control over. Focus on taking concrete measures instead of worrying about things that are beyond of your control. Determine which components of a situation you have control over and which are out of your control. Focus your efforts in the areas where you can make a difference. Recognize that some situations, like other people's actions or environmental factors, are out of your control. Accept them and try not to think about them all the time. Refocus on the doable things you can do to make the situation better, rather than feeling helpless in the face of the uncontrollable. Prioritize tasks. Give top priority to those that fall within your direct control and that support your objectives. To keep your mind sharp, put aside issues that are not urgent or unavoidable. Number 6, challenge cognitive distortions. Be mindful of cognitive biases like all, or nothing thinking, drawing conclusions hastily, and personalizing. Challenge these distortions with more impartial viewpoints when you become aware of them. Learn about typical cognitive errors include black and white thinking, overgeneralization, mind reading, and catastrophizing. Consider whether negative thoughts might be affected by cognitive distortions when they occur. Look for proof that either confirms or disproves these ideas. By examining different interpretations for a situation, one can combat all, or nothing thinking. Stay away from harsh judgments and adopt a more nuanced viewpoint. To bolster or disprove your ideas, look for hard data. Avoid drawing conclusions based entirely on emotions or presumptions. Be aware of your ideas and behaviors. Recognize when cognitive distortions are present and work on non-judgmental awareness. Test assumptions. Examine the veracity of the assumptions that underlie your views. Are they founded on objective truths or subjective perceptions? Number 7, practice gratitude. Focusing on the good things in your life will help you develop a grateful attitude. Recognize and appreciate your blessings frequently to help ward off negative thoughts. Every day, take a time to reflect on your blessings. Recognize your blessings, no matter how minor or basic they may seem. Focus on the here and now, and look around you for things for which to be thankful. This might be a moment of serenity and tranquility, the splendor of nature, or a thoughtful act from a friend. Spend some time thanking the people who have had a positive influence on your life. Express gratitude for their generosity and assistance. By considering the lessons or personal development that came from unpleasant events, practice appreciation even in trying times. Number 8. Look for alternative explanations. When you have a bad notion, try to come up with some positive ones. Seek out unbiased or uplifting interpretations that might offer a more impartial perspective. Take a minute to stop and consider the content of any unpleasant thoughts that come to mind. Think about any potential alternate explanations for the circumstance. Avoid drawing assumptions based on scant information. Recognize that there may be a variety of things at play. Challenge the underlying presumptions of the negative idea. Without any proof, are you assuming the worst? Put yourself in other people's shoes. Think about other people's viewpoints and reasons for participating in the situation. Accept their objectives and sentiments. Consider any outside influences that might have influenced the incident. Sometimes things happen that are out of your control, and it's not your fault. Number 9. Use affirmations. In order to combat negative self-talk, use affirmations that are positive. In order to increase your self-confidence, keep repeating affirmations that highlight your skills and capabilities. Your thought patterns can be changed via affirmations, which can also help you develop a better self-image. You establish a base of self-assurance, motivation, and resilience by incorporating them into your regular activities. Always remember that actions should be taken along with affirmations for best results. Utilize them as a springboard for your own development and a reminder of your strengths and potential. Accept the good vibes they bring into your life and see how they improve your success and general well-being. Number 10. Refute should statements. Avoid telling yourself that you should or must do something. Change them out for language that is tolerant and adaptable. You can release yourself from the weight of strict expectations and adopt a more forgiving and empowered way of thinking by disputing should statements. Substitute language that demonstrates your independence and capacity to make decisions in line with your ideals and overall well-being for these inflexible statements. As you negotiate life's problems and strive for personal progress and fulfillment, keep in mind that it is crucial to be nice to yourself. Remember that Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or thoughts. It's about transforming them through reason and virtue. By practicing these Stoic principles, you can develop a more resilient and rational mindset that's less prone to negative thinking. Cognitive reframing requires work, and that it's common to occasionally have negative thoughts. You can cultivate a more positive and resilient attitude, thereby improving your mental well-being by confronting and swapping out negative beliefs with more helpful ones.